Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I wanted to talk about something that we learned in episode 3 that was actually just a line that was, I mean, when you first hear it, you're like, wait, what? And then, yeah, you start to really think about it. And I really wonder what this 500-year plan is and if that is sort of related to the echelon briefing. So I want to talk about this and what all of this could mean here and how this could probably play a role in the next couple of episodes here. So before we go any further, obviously, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. Now, as I was saying in the flashback scene in episode 3, where we do see Jadis and Rick talk for, I guess, the first time in quite a while. And this is really one of the first times that they did actually talk about just stuff in general, because Rick's reaction to certain things that Jadis did in terms of her moving up within the CRM, and he's like, well, why are you here? Why aren't you killing walkers and stuff? And then she kind of smiles. He's like, oh, because you gave them me, right? And yeah, so it was a really cool scene to see. But I think what I really liked about it was the fact that Rick and Jadis were just kind of getting along. I mean, like Rick doesn't like Jadis. Jadis, I think she likes Rick, but she also does kind of see him as an enemy as well, right? Like she's using him, right? And I mean, it's what she always says, people are a resource. So really cool scene, I think, in general. But yeah, as she's trying to convince Rick of, how amazing the CRM is and this and that, she says that the CRM has like a 500-year plan. And that I was just like, wait, what? Like a 500-year plan? And apparently it's a 500-year plan on like how they're going to restore humanity, but not even that, like they're going to do it way better than the way it was before. And so I don't even know what that really means overall, but obviously they have a plan for how to deal with walkers. And it's not just like one place, it seems like. I think they really do want to sort of take over the entire world and like run everything. So I do think they have like a 500-year plan that they're going to be trying to do. And to me, when I first saw this, so first of all, I want to reference 2 articles here, and because it just made me kind of interested in this. So first of all, there's one here from Screen Rant that actually talks about the 500-year plan, but kind of goes into some other stuff that I'll talk about in a second. And then later on, there's an article I saw by CBR that made me really interested in like if this is a possibility. So I want to talk about that, but again, I'll leave a link down below to both articles. Definitely go and check them out. There's one article here by Screen Rant, basically sort of, it mentions the 500-year plan, but kind of says that this is almost in a way set up for AMC to really keep the CRM alive for a very, very long time, right? And I guess that is true. You can technically do a lot of stories now with this, right? Like if you wanted to keep the Civic Republic around for many, many years, you can, like literally for hundreds of years, right? Or at least the next 500 years. So you can do that if you wanted to, I guess. I don't think that's going to be really a thing. Obviously, I think the 500-year plan is more just a reference to, that's probably what their plan is, but I don't think they're going to follow through with that. I think the Civic Republic will be fine overall. I don't know if, if their plan's going to be able to happen, because I feel like Rick and Michonne are going to stop that and change things for the better. But yeah, as of now, it's very interesting to sort of see some of the bigger stories like that, right? Like such a big organization like the CRM is, has a big plan like that for the entirety of the planet. And it's just like people in Alexandria don't even know that. Like no one else in the world knows what's going on over there, right? So that's what I wonder if, the 500-year plan thing, is that the echelon briefing, right? Is there stuff there with that? And the echelon briefing is something that I am just going to be very interested in over the next couple of episodes, because I want to know more about it. Episode 4, I don't think is going to get into it, because that's going to be a Rick and Michonne episode. Rick doesn't know anything right now, right, about anything to do with the echelon briefing. And I don't see Pearl Thorne being in episode 4, so I don't see her getting into anything there. Jadis probably knows some stuff about it, but I don't see her, really getting into a whole thing about it in that episode. I don't see that. And also Beale, I don't think is going to be in the episode. So episode 5, maybe, but it looks like Jadis is going to be hunting them down. So maybe at the end of episode 5, that's possible. But again, I feel like the echelon briefing is something that is going to come up at the very end. I already did a video talking about my ideas on, what I think the echelon briefing could be and how it could be revealed in the finale. But I also saw this article right here that was it was kind of interesting. So again, this article here is by cbr.com, and basically it references the echelon briefing and sort of asks the question, does the echelon briefing mean a second apocalypse? And when I saw that, I was like, whoa, wait, what is this? And so I was just kind of reading, and it is interesting. I'll say that. I think it's possible if the CRM created the original apocalypse, and like maybe they're going to do it again, right? Like maybe there's just certain things that they're doing, just because you look at the chlorine gas and like how they're using walkers, like they just wiped out Omaha, right? Think about it. They actually wiped out Omaha. We saw it in episode 1. It was just something that they kind of had on the TV. It was like this crazy scene, right? And we know what happened. Like they wiped out Omaha with all the chlorine gas, and then they just had walkers go through it a column of walkers, which is just like, a massive horde of walkers, basically just that the CRM is able to tell go in any direction kind of thing, right? And so they made it look like the walkers just sort of, took over Omaha, but obviously a bunch of stuff happened. And a lot of people, I'm sure, at the Pacific Republic don't believe that, or at least people in the military probably know, like, okay, I know what happened there, right? So, I think, what we saw with Omaha, it shows the Pacific Republic, like, they're not all about saving people, because it seems like they want secrecy and they want to really change everything. But there's something about it though, right? There's something off about it that it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Why are you wiping out communities? Like, if you're trying to do what you're doing, why are you trying to kill people that try to leave? And then, like, why are you wiping out communities that, like, start to learn about, where the Pacific Republic military is? Like, there's just things about it that is very, very off, So I think that all the secrets behind what they do is, a part of that briefing. And I think that once you learn that, you sort of know everything. And I don't know, apparently to a lot of people, it makes a lot of sense. Once you learn all of that, you're like, okay, now I'm on your side kind of thing. It just feels like that's sort of how every character reacts overall. And so I wonder if the CRM is planning a second apocalypse. And I was thinking about that. Like, once I saw that, I was like, how can a second apocalypse happen? Like, how would that make sense at all? And then I was like, wait, variant walkers. I wonder if they're doing variant walkers and they're sort of testing all of that out in France and places in Europe, right? Like, I wonder if that is overall the reason why Madame Genet is creating variant walkers. Because again, it's not like that just happened randomly. Like, they were just in America. That's how Daryl got there, right? They were doing research, I guess, in America. And if you remember at the end of World Beyond Season 2, there was a teaser there for Daryl Dixon. World Beyond is a show about the CRM, and the post-credit scene of that show was a teaser for Daryl Dixon, and it showed a scientist talking about some sort of meeting or whatever that happened in Ohio, obviously. And I just think that the connections here make a lot of sense, right? I think that it's pretty easy to see what they're doing here, but what we don't know is just like, why are they using variant walkers? And I wonder if it is possible, could the CRM be trying to create another apocalypse in the sense that they're trying to use variant walkers? So obviously you can't really create a second apocalypse. I guess you could in a way, like once people start to actually, right now I would say the state of the world right now, I guess there's people, having a hard time surviving and all that, but a lot of people, 10 to 15 years in, they are now a part of a lot of communities, right? And they're starting to actually fix things. But if you get those variant walkers out there, like imagine all those variant walkers that Daryl had to deal with. If you get those everywhere in America, like it makes it so much harder to really survive at all, because you need to be a part of like massive communities in order to survive. Because those variant walkers, yes, they're testing them right now, because right now if there's like more than one, if there's two of them, they're going to kill each other. So like you have to work on that a bit, obviously, because you can't, if you're trying to use walkers as weapons, it's not going to work. So I wonder if that's like sort of what the CRM is planning to do here, is actually have a second phase of the apocalypse happen. And this time though, it's going to be with variant walkers. And I don't know if any of this really makes a lot of sense, because the question of all this is going to be like, well, why, like, what's the point in doing all this? To me, I just think that it could be a power thing. Really, it could be as simple as that. Like it's just sort of one of the things where you're like, well, why do people want power and stuff like that in general, right? Like, I just feel like that could be a part of the CRM's just overall goal here, is that they just want a lot of power. And once they start to see other communities get a lot of power or start to question where they are, and then they start to lose a lot of their power because their secrecy is starting to go away and whatnot, it seems like they just wipe out other communities kind of thing. So I think that could be why Omaha was wiped out, and why I think they were trying to wipe out Portland. And I just think that, if they were responsible for creating the apocalypse, or at least, playing a role in it, I think that, they have the power to do something like that again with variant walkers. And so maybe that's where the story's going overall here, right? Like, we're going to eventually get to a point where we have variant walkers everywhere. And that's definitely a reunion there that you can do with everyone. You can bring Daryl back and Carol as well, because Carol's going to eventually be there. And that's how you can get everyone back together. And this way, the threat is going to be so much worse. There's variant walkers. And because at some point, you have to make walkers the threat again, right? Like, it's kind of funny. I was watching actually The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live episode 3 today. And I was like, what's interesting about it is that walkers aren't really a threat. They're not even a part of the story with this show, but it's just so good. But it still feels like it is in the apocalypse though. Like, when you're watching this show, it doesn't feel like it's separate or like it's its own thing, like with Rick just a part of this military organization and he's not able to leave, right? Like, it still feels like it's very much in the apocalypse. It still feels very, very connected to everything. But for some reason it's very entertaining, because that was always sort of the issue that I would say over the last however many years, was that walkers weren't really a threat. And so that was always a thing that I wanted to see. And then Daryl Dixon, you know, that show really, really made them really threatening. And it was scary actually looking at those variant walkers, and like it made it so exciting, right? Like everyone loved that. And I will say, if you just started watching The Ones Who Live, because I know a lot of people haven't checked out Dead City or Daryl Dixon, if there's another show that you want to watch, you know, if you haven't finished the rest of The Walking Dead, I would just say don't finish the rest of it. Just watch Daryl Dixon, like watch that. And then afterwards, I would say go watch Dead City. But if there's just one show to watch besides The Ones Who Live, I would say go and watch Daryl Dixon. It's a really, really interesting story. And season 2 is happening really soon. And I mean, I already spoiled it, but yeah, Carol's going to be on that show. So it's really, really incredible. The variant walker stuff is a lot of fun. The characters there are so amazing. The story is just so good. It's so good here, and it makes me so excited for a possible, you know, reunion of everyone here, just to unite all the characters again. And I wonder if the CRM's 500-year plan is, you know, related to the Echelon briefing, and if that is technically like maybe hinting at a second apocalypse or whatnot, right? Like it seems like there's something here. You know, I think like that's the thing. When I look at the Echelon briefing or this 500-year plan and all of that, you know, like what could it be related to? To me, it has to be related to walkers, right? Like it has to be related to how it all started or where it's going to go or certain things that they have done. And, you know, and I think that it just makes a lot of sense. And maybe it wasn't the CRM that did it. Maybe they never caused it, but maybe they know how it started, right? Maybe they know how the apocalypse started. And so now, with that knowledge, you know, like they can't allow that to get out there because I don't know why, but maybe there's a certain reason why. And then maybe that gives them a lot of power to do certain things. I have no idea, but they are, you know, as Okafor says, the largest military on the planet. And I do believe that. If you just see what they are, it's like, yeah, obviously, right? So yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Let me know what you guys think about this idea here. Do you think it's possible that the CRM, you know, that the Echelon briefing is sort of, you know, a part of like this 500? I guess Jadis did know of the 500-year plan, and there's no way she got the Echelon briefing. But I mean, that 500-year plan is so just, you know, like anyone could kind of know that. It's just the details of the plan, right? Like that could be a part of the Echelon briefing and all that. But I feel like there's definitely a lot more to it. Like there's a lot there. So post your thoughts on all of this down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.